What's up guys, Cedo Cards here with another video. Guys, today I wanted to do something slightly different. I wanted to spend this video looking at cards that are collectible, cards on the lower end that I don't usually look at. Again, these are cards that are mostly between £3, $3 to maybe $20, $30. Again, loads of great collectibles, and I often don't focus on these at the moment. Just because these are still very easy to pull. Of course, Origins is still very much in print. Spiritforged has just come out. So of course there are lots of cool cards at this price point that we all know, once the game is no longer in print, once Origins is no longer in print, that these cards will climb very quickly, not so much because of their playability, but actually just because of how cool they are in terms of collectability. So guys, before we go into it, as always, I really appreciate the support. The channel is growing extremely fast, and I'm loving the conversations we're having. As usual, if you're enjoying your time here, leave us a like, leave us a comment, join in the conversation. And if you're really enjoying your time, think of subscribing. I don't, as a person that watches loads of videos myself, I don't always subscribe that soon into things, but often I find myself, having watched the channel for months, and then I'm like, why am I not subscribed? And I subscribe because I'm really enjoying my time there. So if you guys are interested and want to subscribe, I appreciate it. But as long as you guys are here, that's what matters. So guys, I wanted to kind of walk through today, just kind of going through a number of cards that I think are very, very dope cards. Of course, their price point isn't insane. It's because, of course, you can collect these you can catch these quite easily. I mean, I have a bunch that I'll kind of showcase from this list as well. And so these kind of are under the radar, of course. But I do want to take a look at these because I think these are great cards to collect. And I think we don't have enough of a conversation about these cards. Of course, some of these are impacted by the fact that they are playable. I've tried to avoid a lot of those cards because, of course, those fluctuate based on, again, the playability, whereas these are more around the collectability. So starting off with this irelia card, and again, guys, this is gorgeous. And as you guys can see, actually, my camera is in the bottom left corner, just because I am using TCG Player today, and of course, the market price is on the right-hand side, bottom right-hand side, so my camera will be blocking it. But guys, this card is gorgeous, and honestly, I'm sure those that play and haven't collect, just are in the Riftbound space. You guys know that the 6 More Vodka team that have been doing a lot of the artwork are absolutely doing a fantastic job. They are really capturing that League of Legends essence in their artwork, in the illustrations. And this irelia card is no different. It's a very, very gorgeous card. It does show irelia in a very dope light. You can see her blades around her. She's kind of in the air as well. And it's quite a mystical card as well. She's sort of in a very distant location. She's in the sky. There are some floating platforms around her. I think this is a gorgeous card. Price point wise, we are looking at $18, and of course this is fresh out. Of course, this will drop considerably as the Spiritforged market becomes more and more flooded with these cards. Though, as I understand, this has some playability to it, which is why it is at its price point. But it's just a gorgeous card. I would definitely collect this and buy this if I had the money spare and I was really attached to irelia. I'll be honest, I've played League since 2013. I have not played irelia once, not once. She's a great champion. I've played against her many times. I appreciate her art, her skill set, her abilities. I've just never played her, but I understand why there is so much fanfare and why she has such a cult following. She's a great champion, and she embodies a great spirit. So looking at $18 for this card, definitely one I would pick up if I was an irelia fan. This is a card is very dope as well. I wish this was in better clarity, if it feels more HD, but it's a very dope card for Ezreal fans. Again, 6 More Vodka are just killing it. I think this is very cool. We are looking at $8 as well, so super cheap. Again, all the ones I showcased for Spiritforged, just take some time. There's no need to buy this now. This will drop considerably. There are two things. One, it's just the TCG's Spiritforged has just come out, and two, the supply of Spiritforged is a lot. So these cards, just expect these cards to be flooded over time. So we're looking, and you can see, of course, on this side as well, the market price has just dipped. It's climbed up a bit, but again, it's dipping again. Just take your time. There is going to be more than enough time to collect these cards, but I think this is a very dope card just to keep an eye on. Again, because we're still so early into Riftbound that the, you know, your Azir player or your Irelia player, you know, the 90% of those that would collect and enter into the space aren't here yet. So by the time they are here, you know, this is out of print, and this is now a lot rarer to find. So again, take your time, and it's going to be so dope as well. Eventually these cards will get graded, and deservedly so. These are gorgeous cards. Irelia here, this is here, they'll get graded, and they'll be very dope cards to have as a pristine copy. You know, BGS 10. PSA is always up and down, but a tag, just, you know, just knowing that it's a pristine copy of that card would be very dope to have in the future. So, you know, these are at $8. If I was an Azir person, I'd buy a bunch. So there's no harm. The solution card here is so dope. Like, this is $2. This is such a sick card. Again, 6 more vodka. They just know, like, I would imagine, just based on how well they are doing, that they are probably commissioned for a lot of work for League of Legends. There's no way they were just, you know, not a freelance team, but maybe a contractor that just embodies it so well from the get-go. So I would imagine they're probably a team, maybe a second-party team that does help with a lot of artwork for League of Legends in general. This is just so dope, so dope. So looking at $2 here. Again, if I was a Lucian player, I would buy this in a heartbeat. Such a sick card. Again, these champion unit cards are so sick in terms of their collectability. Like, again, I'm so surprised out of the gate how well these standard cards are, because I thought, honestly, I thought it'd be pretty substandard, but no, they've really out the gate hit the ball rolling. So this is very awesome. Then moving back to Origins, again, there are still a lot of dope cards in Origins. I mean, this card here, this Victor Leader, is so fantastic. Of course, it's a champion unit. This is such a dope card. Of course, we all know it's not the Machine Herald Victor. I say it all the time. This is the Arcane Victor that, of course, we have now known for the last few years. This isn't the Machine Herald Victor that we all love. I think this is still dope artwork, though. Very dope artwork. Of course, the new visual rework is fine. I think, you know, as a standalone character, this would be a very dope character if it wasn't Victor, for example. I think the artwork is dope. I think this is a great pickup, and we are looking at just under $5 for this card as well. This is a snag. I would buy a bunch of these. I have some in Chinese when I was opening Chinese Origins. I think this is a very dope card, and I wish I had one in English as well, because it's so gorgeous in person. Riot Games have done a very good job in the print quality and the foiling of these cards. Again, these are no-brainers for the future. It's such gorgeous cards to have as a collectible. Ahri, again, no different. Gorgeous card. 6 more vodka, just absolutely doing numbers. That's true. I've not played League of Legends in a while, so I didn't notice this was actually a splash team done by the League Splash team. Regardless, I think it's a gorgeous card to have in physical print. This Ahri Inquisitive card, again, gorgeous artwork. Again, captures Ahri in that sort of mystical light, that Ionian light. Again, this is as well $8. I would definitely pick this up as well, considering Ahri is just a fan favorite. If you are an Ahri fan, I would buy this before this is out of print, because I'm sure we all expect, once these are out of print, particularly for the really popular characters, you know, that FOMO starts to hit, and people start to panic and buy the cards that they really should have bought ages ago. Like, I'm guilty of things like that as well, but I think this would definitely happen for this Ahri Inquisitive card. $8, that's what in the UK, probably about £5 really. I think this is a snag, and I wouldn't wait if I were an Ahri collector. Now, this Arise signature spell, I think it's gorgeous personally. This is on the pricier side, so similar to Irelia, as this is a card that is useful in the game. I think it's gorgeous. I would, of course, say the same for Spiritforged to give it some time. Of course, it is playable, but as more and more of these cards enter the market, the price point will go down. Again, the artwork is gorgeous. Kudos to Kudos Productions. Again, very gorgeous art, and I think this is a really beautiful card and a great card to pick up if you are an Azir fan or Shurima fan. I think definitely very gorgeous card to pick. So Jinx, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of Jinx. You know, she joined the game in 2013, same year I started, and she's been a menace. She was a menace. There was like I think there was like a Jinx meta for like 3 years. It was crazy. And again, we see here the more adult Jinx. This isn't really arcane Jinx. It's almost like a blend between the two, but this is clearly, you know, an adult Jinx as opposed to sort of teen Jinx, which we see in arcane. So this is about $5. Again, I have a few of these. I mean, I've got a bunch of these cards. If I quickly show, I just thought I'd grab a few out of my collection. I mean, I've got, just out of what I've managed to pull, I mean, I've got the Jinx, I've got Dead Bloom. I mean, I'm kind of just showcasing a lot of these. I mean, Dead Bloom's obviously on the pricier side, but I'm showcasing there's a lot of these signature spells and champion units that I think are very dope. I mean, here's the same in Project K. I've got the Last Breath as well, and again, I'll go through these things. I actually bought this. This is the Wind Rider. Again, I bought this because it's such a gorgeous card. Again, it's like, what, it was like £5. Actually, it was £3. Really gorgeous card. Because I think these are just really cool cards to have, and once these are out of print, these will just be very pricey. And I know that, so I want to buy what I can now, enjoy them, you know, as they sit around in my room, and yeah, just get them before they become too expensive. So anyway, we're looking at Jinx again. If you're a Jinx collector, which I don't think there are many right now, I don't think the Jinx fans are in the game just yet. And again, we all know that Riot Games hasn't really publicized the TCG just yet, or not as much really just yet, and that's good. It's good. I think it's good. They still need to get a handle on supply. Of course, Spiritforged is it has a lot more supply than Origins, or at least there's more supply in the market right now. I really think it's because it's not as much of a fan favorite in terms of a set. It's a good set. It's a very gorgeous set. But I don't think it has as wide range appeal as, say, Origins. You know, of course, the main signed overnumbereds are all around the Spirit Blossom skin line. So there's less broad appeal where, you know, Origins had Yasuo, had Kaisa, had Ahri, all in different sort of art directions and art styles. So I think Spiritforged, while we do have more stock, I do think that when they do release a really dope set, like for example, Unleashed is probably could be really, really good. You know, there's Vi, there's V, there's Rengar, there's Pyke, there's Diana, there's LeBlanc, there's Marcy, all on the booster box display itself. That's all we know, but that's a lot of really dope champions. If they do really well with the art style, you know, that will probably be a hit, and that will probably sell out very quickly. We'll probably see scalpers trying to scalp it. So I think, you know, there's a lot to look forward to. There's definitely a lot to look forward to. So moving on, yeah, just as I mentioned, you know, Wind Rider, I had to buy one myself because it's just so gorgeous and it's so cheap. We're looking at $4. Yasuo fans will, this is just, and I think RIFTBOUND is very, very unique in that, you know, yes, One Piece, Pokemon, you know, people do collect their favorite characters. Just very different when it comes to League of Legends, because there are so many, there's what, 150 champions at this point, and there are so many champions with different fan bases. And you know, for each fan base, there'll be a large group of people wanting to collect these cards in person. And of course, Yasuo is no exception. As I mentioned, I still don't think that his user base is here just yet. You know, the mid laner, the kind of, maybe not so much extroverted, but a bit more out there and a bit more boyish. I don't think they're really paying attention to a card game right now, but I do think at some point when this is publicized a bit more, you know, as I mentioned, once they have got a good hold on and that was my point before, once they have a good hold on the logistics side, when they have had really good sets come out, once they have good control over it, that's when they should start publicizing this to, you know, the wider League of Legends audience. Until then, they should just take their time and let us, people who are privy to it and are aware of the RIFTBOUND TCG at the moment, just collect and enjoy. Ultimately, if people do miss out, I'm sure they can always, not reprint cards, but they could always produce more gorgeous cards in the future. You know, as we know, they have 150 cards, a gajillion skin lines. There are so many different things they can do with it. You know, if people do miss out on a few of these cards here, chances are these won't be too expensive in the future to get. But at the same time, there's always really great cards they can have in the future. And as well, they have mentioned that they're not afraid of reprinting a lot of these cards as well. And then again, Rek'Sai. I mean, Rek'Sai has a fan base. You know, Rek'Sai has a really dope champion. She's really good. I remember one time she was just an absolute menace. And again, her price point right now is super cheap. It's about $6. Again, I would give it time, being that it is Spiritforged, but I think this is just a gorgeous card. Just captures captures her in a really great light. We all know Rek'Sai has such a cool skill set. Her abilities, you know, being burrowed and not being able to see fully, where you can see the ultrasonic, like the reverbs, and you know, see where characters are nearby. I think that's really dope. She's loved. Of course, she has, people have disliked her playstyle in the past, but generally she's very loved. So again, very much an easy snag. We have, of course, Draven. Of course, Draven is popular in the TCG because of his how well he is in the game. Again, this is a very dope card. It's about $20. I would give it some time. Eventually, he may fall out of the meta as new sets come out. So I'd keep an eye out on this. It's about $20 right now. If I was a Draven collector, I'd probably wait a bit to try and get this cheaper, or I'd probably just try, you know, open a few packs and hope you do a bit of a gamble and hope you you get the card. If not, I'd probably wait a bit and hopefully the card comes down to a cheaper price, honestly. And what I thought this is really dope. Again, I've never played Renata, but I do think she's a good support. And I remember people trying to play her mid at some point. It was just really silly, but she's a really solid support. It's a very cheap price point. We're looking at $5. Again, this will dip some more, but I do think that the support players do deserve a lot of love as well. Renata is relatively newish, so she won't have as deep a fan base as, say, Leona, Janna. When Janna gets a card, when Janna and Nami get cards, that's going to be crazy. But you know, she won't have as much of a fan base as Janna, as Nami, Leona. But this is still, I think this is still a really cool card as it relates to being a Renata card. So I would grab this if I was a Renata player for sure. Then as I showed, we have Last Breath, very dope card, $4, such a dope artwork. Again, I'll pick these up in a heartbeat. Again, these are cards that would definitely start getting graded. People start wanting to have these in the slabs, and I think it's a gorgeous card to do so. As you guys saw, I have the you know, the Project K version of it as well. Again, they're just gorgeous cards, and yeah, I'd grab them. Same with Foxfire as well. Again, I wanted to just showcase a number of the signature spells that I think are just really cool collectibles. Again, they are, of course, right now, they have some playability in the game, but I think they are also just very cool cards. Again, this is $6. There's no harm in picking up one or two if you're an Ahri fan, or if you just think it's a gorgeous card. Like, I have a number of cards I still want to pick up. I haven't decided to just yet, again, because I know the price points are quite low. You know, we are fortunate that they are quite low, so I'm being a bit lazy. But there are a bunch of cards that I do want to grab some more of, but you know, in due time. And then we have the Cavian Rain. Again, this as you can see, this has gone down by a lot, from about $70 down to what it is now, which is $14, because of course Kaisa is not so much in the meta anymore, and you know, that's good news for collectors. I managed to pull one, so I'm happy. I don't need to buy one, but again, this is a dope card, very gorgeous card. We have Super Mega Death Rocket again. You know, signature spell. I think this is awesome. It's $14. It's a bit on the pricier end. That may be because this may be, again, I don't play the TCG. As you guys know, I've played League for about 9 years. I don't play anymore, but I'm just here to kind of collect League of Legends cards. I don't know if this is useful in the meta. It seems quite strong, deal 5 to a unit, but we're looking at $14. I'd probably purchase it at this price point. Origins, as you guys know, is being scalped to oblivion. The supply is quite low. Of course, reprints have happened, so it is cheaper, but that's going to get eaten up very soon and just go right back up in price. So I would purchase it at this price. It's a very dope card. Then a few more cards. We're about 19 minutes in. I think this is a very gorgeous card for Leona. Again, 6 more vodka, just doing a great job. We're looking at about $3. Again, if I was a Leona fan, easy in a heartbeat. It's a very gorgeous card. Shows Leona in a fantastic light, and yeah, it's absolutely stunning. And Lee Sin, again, this is very close to some of his artworks in League of Legends, but I do think it's just a dope card. There is no harm in picking this up. This is what, $3.55. There's no harm in grabbing this. This is a very dope card for Lee Sin. And then from Spiritforged, I just thought this was pretty dope. The Blade of the Ruin King. Of course, you guys have seen the promo for the Bologna regionals, and is it the 1-of-1 if you win the tournament? If you win the tournament, then there's the best of 8. Again, I think the Blade of the Ruin King is just a dope item, and of course it is around Viego as well. I think it's a great card to pick up as well. It's about $5, probably dip more in price. this is one I think would be very dope to pick up for sure. Sivir, again, this one's extremely cheap, about $1 as well. I would pick this up if I was a Sivir fan. Because Sivir isn't the most exciting ADC, of course. She is very functional in a team setting. But again, she's an OG. I mean, she's had hardly any reworks. I mean, she's had a few changes here and there, but she's mostly the same as she was, you know, back when she came out. And I mean, I've known her since 2013. But of course, she's been around even longer than that. So again, if you're a Sivir fan, great item to pick up. But again, Spiritforged has just come out. This is going to be printed for a while. So either she becomes meta at some point. If not, then this is easily, like, I would buy like 10 in one go and just keep them stocked away, to be honest. We have Rumble. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of this Rumble card. I know it's in line with one of his, I forgot which skin line it is. It's not Rumble in the Jungle. It's definitely Rumble, but there's a skin line. It's around. It's not the best card. I do think it's kind of cool, so I wanted to showcase it. It's just not the coolest, you know, as opposed to say Lucian here looking absolutely sick, irelia looking gorgeous, ezreal looking dope. We then have, you know, Rumble kind of being given this subpar, you know, card. So it's my opinion. I did want to highlight because it is quite cheap. It's about $2, so there's no harm if you're a Rumble collector. Again, these things will all be worth a lot more in the future. So I just recommend anyone who is interested in these just to grab them now while they are cheap. Darius, of course, as we know, Darius's cards have been baked in at such a low price point because, you know, Origins, he didn't have the best showcase with his signed card, his overnumbered. I think that sentiment is kind of baking into all of his other cards. I do think this is a very awesome card though. If this was his signature card, I wouldn't even be mad. I think this is quite a dope card. I think it's extremely cheap. I think this as a card to be graded, I think in the future would be awesome. Like, if I was a Darius person, I would buy 5 or 6, throw them all into PSA, and leave them for the slowest shipping. Let it come back in like, you know, 8 months time, and just have a bunch of these in the PSA. Hopefully PSA 10. Just keep these. This is a very dope card for Darius. Like, this is a very good look for Darius. It's just a shame that this wasn't the one they chose for, you know, an overnumbered or even alt art. And then just a few more. Again, as you guys know, I try to keep things between like 20 to 27 minutes. Usually no longer than 30. But this Jax card, again, super cheap, about $2.50. I would grab this now. Yes, it may get cheaper, but I would just grab it now just to know that you have it with you. Very awesome card. Very awesome card. Again, this is Envar Studios, different studio, but again, Envar Studio know what's up as well. It's a very dope card. You know, this is what Jax's Counter Strike. You can just tell he's, you know, dodging every ability. What a menace. But this is $2.50. I'd grab this. Teemo Strategist, you may have just saw it in the list, in the bunch of cards I was showing. Again, very cool card, very cheap. Teemo is a no-brainer. You know, if you love or hate Teemo, there's no harm in picking up a Teemo card because he's just an awesome character. And this is what, $3 at the moment. As you can see, it has dipped quite a bit, and I expect it to be around this low price point until Origins is out of print. But I'd probably say to grab some as soon as you can, really. And then as well, Guerrilla Warfare. I think it's just a dope card. Of course, we all hate Teemo's mushrooms, but at the same time, it is very much a. I think it's a cool card. Again, kudos, did a great job, and we are looking at $11. I don't think this is gonna get any cheaper for now because it is playable. So that's my only issue. So I would say only collect this if you're a Teemo person. I think the Teemo Strategist card alone is just gorgeous. And then lastly, I kind of wanted to showcase set. I'm not really a set person, but I trust that those that are set fans would like this card. Again, it is still playable, so we are around $20, not so much the $5, $3 that we have been seeing. But I think this is a cool card to pick up nonetheless. There is one more set as well at the end, the set Brawler. Again, I think this is a pretty cool card, but again, this is of course playable, so it is more expensive, $45. But I did want to just showcase it at least. And then lastly, last few cards. We have the Dead Bloom Predator, and this has been in play for some time. Of course, it is much cheaper than its peak of around $120. We are looking now around $40. Of course, it just reminds me of Maokai. I don't know if this is one of Maokai's E's, you know, the blooms that he throws out. But I just think it's a gorgeous card in terms of design. So that's why I've listed it there. Again, it may probably never be cheap enough for to be something you pick up, probably just something you manage to pull, but I do think it's gorgeous. And then lastly, as I showed, the Volibear card, which also came from was in Project K as well. It could have been in Runeterra, I wouldn't know, I didn't play the game, but I think it's a gorgeous card. And again, $3. If you're a Volibear person, this is a no-brainer, and I would love to get my hand on as many of these as possible. So, one day, eventually, when I do vend at card shows, I just have an abundance of really cool cards for people to collect. Because again, that's the thing, right now, we have people entering the TCG and they want to pick up cool cards, and for the most part, people are able to do that. But in the future, when these are out of print, I would love it so that someone comes to my table, and yes, you will have the more the overnumbers, the signs, and those sort of cool cards. But people would just want to pick up their regular champion unit here and there for the champions that they one trick. So it'd be great to have these around. Again, this is super cheap. We're looking at $3. Again, it's a snag. Last two ones we have, of course, Time Warp. It is a dope card. Again, I wouldn't recommend it. It is $80 because, of course, it is very much playable in the game. I just think it's a dope card, and of course, if you do pull this, probably worth selling it because of the price. Just ultimately, and then with that money, you can just buy another. You can buy a bunch of other cards. You can buy a bunch of the RE Inquisitive, Victor Legend, and a bunch of other cards. But I think this is a very dope card as well. Just wanted to highlight it. Again, it's not on the price point that we're discussing. But again, I just wanted to highlight it. And then lastly, we have the Misfortune Captain card. Again, this is a splash art, but I do think it's still a very dope card as well. We're looking at $8 as well. So very much in the realm of collectability at this point. And definitely one I would pick up if I was a Misfortune fan. And there are a lot of Misfortune collectors, to be honest. There's a lot of Misfortune. In fact, I put it away, but the Project K Misfortune card, I've had a few Project K Misfortune cards, and people have just bought some from me because they're collectors. And if you're a collector, I'm willing to give away, these Project K cards at a price, of course, not excessive, but enough that I'm doing the cards justice for the life and energy that was breathed into them and the effort put into them. But there are Misfortune collectors out there in the wild, which is pretty dope. But that's gonna do it. We'll leave it there. Again, guys, I appreciate your support so much. Having a great time doing these videos. There's so much to do in this space. We've seen basically nothing. Hardly anyone's here already in terms of collectors. There are a lot of cool items to collect, and it's just a matter of time, really. Just waiting for more people to come into the space. But again, as I've said before, I think Riot Games should take their time before they start to really market this. I really do want them to make sure that they start to get the supply under control, particularly for the sets that are really, really popular. So for example, let's say set 3 is really popular. They should look into some feedback on the supply, ensure that when they do produce another set that they think is going to be a hit, that they are able to meet the demand of a growing user base that will be flooding into it. And really, everyone would be trying to get that one set. Of course, if someone enters Riftbound now, they at least have Origins to collect, they have Spiritforged to collect, but there may come a time where maybe we're like 6 sets down the line and all of a sudden people are flooding in. All they would have available is really that last 5th set and 6th set where Origins and Spiritforged are out of reach now. So people will flood into that one set as opposed to spreading out across multiple, because the older ones will be way too expensive. So I do hope that when the time comes that we do see that break, and maybe there's a Z card or a Faker card or a Worlds, an esports skin line sort of special set. I do hope that they have the logistics under control for that. So that's gonna do it. We'll leave it there. As usual, guys, leave us a like, join in the conversation, leave us a comment if you're really having a good time, leave us a subscribe, and yeah, I'll catch you soon. Cheers.